I'm Jake,
And I'm Marlin.
and we're in our Fresh from the Theater review, first one of 2024. It's been a while. Last one was Killers of the Flower Moon last year. And once again, we're continuing our tradition of watching some long-ass movies.
Yes.
This one is Dune Part 2. Much awaited. It's been 3 years, almost 3 years since the last Dune. And just to quickly sum up our thoughts on that, we liked it.
Yes, we did, and for many of the same reasons as I liked this one.
A big question is, with this new one, does the spice flow? And for me, for the first two acts, the third act is a little bumpy for me, but for the most part, this movie, just like the first one, was a pretty goddamn epic film.
Yes, it was huge, spectacular. Scenery is the wrong thing, but it's amazing, and it brings the scale of what the story is about very clearly to us. They have a lot of detail, how things change, why things happen, and it was spectacular. And if you saw the original Dune, you will have a different outcome in some ways. We will not tell you about it, and
He's not much on the spoiler talk.
no, we shouldn't.
And I won't get into the big spoilers. I won't get into spoilers, but to sum up my thoughts, Doom Part 1, I think would be I'd say it'd be like a 4.5 out of 5-star movie. This one teeters the line between 3.5 and 4-star. Like, again, this film was definitely extremely engaging. The first act was magnificent, just beautiful. The second act was just gripping and brutal. And the third act, there were some cool parts, and also the ending is very accurate to the original story, but it doesn't mean I necessarily like it that much. I came out of this back in my Dune Part 1 Fresh Thoughts video, I said that I wasn't ready to say if the new version was good until I saw Part 2, because they're both two parts of the one big story, while as the 1984 version told the whole story. And now that I've seen Part 2, my main thought is, it is extremely epic. It's very engaging to watch, but I think as a whole, I liked the outcome of the original Dune a bit more. Like, it left me feeling satisfied. This one, well, it kept me very on the edge. When it was over, I kind of came out of it feeling a little disappointed. Like, not as for the whole thing, just the ending. I didn't particularly like the ending, but I'm sure fans of the book will really like it.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily a fan of the book because I haven't read it. I've seen the original Dune, and now I've seen parts 1 and 2, and I've really enjoyed both movies. And the parts 1 and 2, I think, to my mind, are a better movie together than the original, and for no fault of the original. Again, epic, wonderful. They did a lot of character development in a number of different people in the cast. I think the third act began to take the outcome a way that was different than you were kind of thinking it would go. Again, that's not bad.
Well, for some. For me, it just made it hard to kind of get behind certain characters. And before I get to the characters, I just want to say the music score by Hans Zimmer. The first movie won him an Oscar, and I'm not sure he'll go for another one, but I'd be very shocked if he doesn't at least get a nomination, because his Dune music is fucking phenomenal. And the desert is shot amazingly in this.
Again, I should remember where this thing was shot, but wow.
And as for the special effects, there are a few tiny moments where the CGI is a little obvious, but for the most part, it's just splendid. And there are some parts where you can tell they used actual solid, like, models or whatnot. And I appreciate that very much. I have nothing to complain about visually. Denis Villeneuve, he is an amazing director when it comes to sucking you in to the scope of his movies. And as for the characters, Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, he's a really good actor. He does a good job here, but this version of the character, how they wrote him, the way they wrote him near the end, the character started to kind of fall apart for me. And there's one part about him where he keeps trying to deny or not want to be the Messiah for the Fremen. And after a while, for me personally, I just kept thinking, well, somebody slap this bitch in his face. It just got a bit too grating. But as for Zendaya as Chani, what did you think of her here? Because they gave her a lot more in this after the build-up in the first one.
Yeah, I thought her character was true to expectations, and also she did the part well, and she was in many ways might have ended up being the only character Fremen that we got to know in the film who kept her purpose and kept her head on straight.
I thought she was damn fine here. Again, writing near the end is a bit questionable, but she was damn good. They gave her a lot more than the one from the year 84 film, and I really look forward to seeing where she goes forward from this. The majority I'm not going to go through every actor. I will say something about the first one that I was a little on the unsure side of was the Harkonnens, like Raban and the Baron, because there was not that much of them. Here, there's a lot more, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed how they used them here. And the introduction, because they didn't include him in the last one, the introduction of Fade was, this was a very good portrayal of Fade by Austin Butler.
Oh yeah, he was is the most vicious and the worst possible kind of person you would ever want to be around. And he pulled that off well. He really did.
Yeah, he was just a savage motherfucker in this. And I still think Sting is the more iconic Fade, but Austin Butler, he did a great job, and he was not wasted at all in this.
Yeah, nothing jocular about his character.
As for the other villains, characters that they were saving for part 2, the one I was kind of really interested to see was Christopher Walken as the Emperor. And what did you think of him?
They played down the role of the Emperor in this version compared to the original Dune. And they didn't use him much. He's not a lot of screen time. He delivered, and he was there to be the Emperor for how they wrote the cast. But he didn't have any stellar work to do in this film.
Yeah, I'm sad to say I was a little like, I thought he did his usual good Christopher Walken-ness, but overall I was kind of disappointed with what they did with the Emperor here. I feel like he could have been so much more, because it's Christopher Walken.
Yeah. But yes, but they didn't.
And the last, very last of the cast I gotta comment on is Florence Pugh as Princess Ruan, the Emperor's daughter. I really did not like her in this. Florence Pugh, I've seen her in other stuff. She's a good actress, but I can't tell if it's the writing or the direction. I don't know what type of character they were trying to have her do here, but honestly, I thought she sucked in this.
I thought that at least in part 2, all of a sudden she has a role and a place, but there's been no development of her to get us to where we're understanding what she's supposed to be doing and supposed to be about.
Yes, she had more stuff than the original Princess, Virginia Madsen, but you know what? At least Virginia Madsen had a little bit of oomph for her brief screen time. With Florence Pugh, she felt pretty wooden for me. Every time she opened her mouth, I almost wanted to laugh at how stiff she sounded. I don't know, just she felt wasted here. With this and Oppenheimer, I'm just like, she was great in Midsommar, but I don't know. I can't get behind these more recent roles that she's done. Either way, I am glad that I saw this, and I did think it was a grand scale movie, but I think the first part 1 as a whole was stronger. This one, first 2 acts, very strong. Third act, I think the original 84 film had the more just mind-blowing finale with its action and how it played out in the end.
Yeah, it was kind of what you expected, and as you watched the movie, what you expected to happen. This was different. There is a lot more battle. There's a lot more stuff blowing up and all that kind of thing. So that part of it was not disappointing. But
well,
it's almost like the movie made, I don't know what you say, a social or a political statement by the third act.
I think that's what it was trying to do, and it just seemed a bit, maybe it could have been handled better. And we gotta wrap this up quick. The battery's about to go. So my last thought to give is the sandworm, the scene where Paul tames and rides it the first time, is worth the price of admission.
Very good. Yes.
So I recommend checking it out. Maybe you'll get into the ending more than I did, but I think as far as which version I'll go back and rewatch, it'll probably be the David Lynch movie.
I like this. I'll think about this puzzle over the outcome for a while, I'm sure.
Good note to go out on, and we will see you again hopefully soon.
Soon.